This is Matt Lee's VideogamerTV. I'm joined again by Steve Burns, and we thought it was about time we returned to Aliens Colonial Marines. Obviously, you may remember the video we produced originally, highlighting the difference between the demoed version of the original game and what the actual final game looked like. Now, this is pre-patch. There's been a massive patch, almost 4 gigs worth of updates to the game, which is reported to change quite a lot. And now let's have a look at how much the game has actually changed. So obviously this is the original version you've seen, and this is post-patch.
There's a different gun.
It's a different gun. That was just me carrying a different gun. But already we see a few changes. So they have put in that crack in the glass. That's something that wasn't there originally for reasons we didn't quite understand. And it does, admittedly, look a little bit nicer. It's not the kind of massively moody shot that we saw in the original demo of the game. But, you know, these cracks they've added to the glass, and they kind of sharpen things up a bit. This looked really, really ugly originally. And it's a bit nicer, that kind of atmospheric haze. Obviously, this is originally, we're still looking at something which is evidently not the same as it was originally shown. This is, of course, the iconic demo with the lovely dynamic swinging light. This is what it looked like when the game came out, and now this is what it looks like now. Now, the swinging light is still different. It's swinging in a different location. It's not as pretty, but it's not as bad. Obviously, the demo here was just flipping lovely, really. And it is a great shame, and I don't even know what happened to this version of the game. Pre-patch, very rough, but after we've added the official patch and we've got it all in, it is a bit nicer. It's not spectacular, but it does add an element of sheen. And also, you'll notice there's this weird filter that's not your eyes. This is one of the things I don't like about the new patch. It is nicer, but they've added this odd kind of film-like fuzzy TV filter that makes everything look a bit odd, and we'll go back to that in a moment. This, however, still, I mean, it was disappointing originally. What an underwhelming reveal compared. It's a bit nicer, but really we're talking about a bit of fogging in the background. And again, this weird filter, which seems to kind of, you can't switch this off in the settings. So here we have the demo version, then we have what it looks like pre-patch, and then post-patch. You can see it even more clearly there, actually. This weird filter that's just kind of come out of nowhere. And yeah, it's odd.
Well, I think concessions have been made to kind of try and get the atmosphere, you know, go for the atmosphere that they had in this demo with lighting and effects. But and the other effects, should I say. But I agree about the filter. It does, we were talking earlier, it does seem like a way to kind of hide the rougher edges.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there is some nice work going on. So obviously this bit was massively underwhelming when I first saw it. I must admit, the updated version is a lot nicer. This is what it looks like now when you download all the patches, and this is running on top settings. I really don't like this fuzzy filter. You kind of forget it's there after a while, but it does feel like a kind of cheap way of filling in the cracks. But still, like, the dynamic lighting and smoke, it's just weird this stuff wasn't there to begin with, because actually the game does have a lot more atmosphere. Admittedly, it's still a bit of a broken game. They fixed a lot of bugs with this patch, apparently, but yeah, you know, you can't really fix the fact that the aliens were kind of a bit rubbish.
Yeah, well, nothing's going to change the kind of the core game, short of doing it all over. But, I mean, it's something.
This makes a difference, I think.
It does make a difference.
I mean, in my mind, it's still too little too late, but even stuff like shooting the eggs, it was hilariously bad this last time. And you see here, it's actually kind of like, it's a bit better. They feels like they've reworked an awful lot of stuff. I don't know how busy they've been on this.
I don't know who would have done this patch?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because remember, no one made this game.
No, yeah, it's a strange one. There seems to be a lot of post stuff that's come out about apparently multiple studios worked on it, but people say that's not true, and the whole thing is deeply mysterious. But I mean, to be fair to them, even though the whole thing is a fairly scandalous shambles, it's impressive at least to see they have actually bothered to do anything post-launch, because I wouldn't have been surprised if they just shoved this one underneath the table and forgotten about it. So pre-patch,
they could have just left it. So
they could have just left
it.
I mean, pre-patch, even the way that the bullets hit the aliens and stuff, like, it just looked rubbish. And actually, you'll see post-patch, it is a bit better. Some very dodgy shadowing going on there with the new lighting, but it is slightly nicer. I think it's one of those things where if you have already bought this game, then, you know, really sorry for you there. Yeah. But if you bought it and played it for 10 minutes and thought this is rubbish and still have a copy of it, it's probably worth going and installing the patch, because, to be honest, it does seem to make quite a difference. I mean, Hadley's Hope was, I think, the most iconic disappointment for most of us when the game originally launched. And the fact in the demo version, we were shown this spectacular vista and real kind of like dripping with atmosphere so sticky you get it all over your hands and you've got to go and wash them. And then the version of the game we actually got, of course, was a bit disappointing. I mean, this weird diagonal constant rain, and it just looked a bit ugly, and it was somehow missing something. Post-patch, this room immediately kind of looks very similar, actually, and they haven't really put a lot of work into the long-distance vista. Bit of smoke, but nothing special. But, you know, to be fair, the particle effects just generally are a little bit better. I think the water dropping from the ceiling is there, and you'll notice, obviously, you've got this lens flare on the lights, which is something they've added in, and even just a bit more of a flicker. It does kind of bring the place to life and give it a bit more of a sense of atmosphere that, to be honest, the original version just didn't have at all.
It was very static before, wasn't
absolutely
it?
static.
The shoulder lights.
Considering they sold,
Marines.
yeah, the shoulder lights now have got that thing. See, pre-patch, it's just so static. It's like, there's something about it, and I agree, I don't like the way they fudged it with the effect, and it's still nothing like what we were actually showing.
No.
So, I mean, the original thing that we kind of revealed as this, it was fairly scandalous, frankly. That still hasn't been resolved, but this does at least go some way to trying to improve a broken product. So this was pre-patch, obviously, finally. This is what the game did when it launched. And this is the post-patch version, yeah. I mean, so they've apparently fixed a lot of the bugs, but they still haven't fixed some of them. That's
the best bug, though. You have to leave that as a signature bug now
I
for the
wonder
game.
what it's like inside of your pretty little head. Oh, it's teeth. Yeah, pretty much Aliens Colonial Marines, yeah, not enough.